Hello, and welcome to the Get Fit podcast. Here, we share simple, practical tips to help you lose weight, get stronger, and build healthy habits that last. Each week, we'll break down strategies you can actually use in your fitness journey. Small steps, big results. Let's get fit together.
Welcome to the deep dive. We take a whole stack of sources, pull out the key nuggets, and help you get well-informed, fast. Today, we're diving into something that, well, touches a lot of us. The surprising power of really small changes, tiny habits, and how they can lead to significant, lasting results, especially when we're talking about healthy weight management and just general well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. We've gathered insights from some big names in health, like Harvard Health, Brown University Health, WebMD, the British Heart Foundation, too. But we're also weaving in some really transformative ideas from James Clear's Atomic Habits. Our mission really is to show you how those tiny steps, the ones you might even overlook, are actually the real engine for change, and how you can actually use this stuff in your own life.
Okay, let's unpack that. This foundational idea that tiny, almost unnoticeable tweaks can somehow add up to really remarkable results. Maybe we can start with this concept. The aggregation of marginal gains. A good example is the British cycling team, right? Back in 2003.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. They had this history of being, well, pretty average, frankly. Average is putting it mildly. Only one Olympic gold since 1908. No Tour de France wins in over a century.
Exactly. Then Dave Brailsford comes in as performance director. And his whole thing was finding a tiny bit of improvement in absolutely everything.
And the way they applied it is just fascinating, isn't it?
It really is. It wasn't just the obvious stuff like better bikes. Yes, they redesigned seats, they rubbed alcohol on tires for grip, used special heated shorts, monitored athletes with biofeedback, all that.
Standard high-performance stuff, maybe.
To a degree, yeah. But then they went further, into really unexpected areas, testing different massage gels for recovery, hiring a surgeon, get this, to teach proper hand washing to stop athletes getting colds.
Seriously, hand washing.
Seriously. And figuring out the best pillows and mattresses for each rider's sleep. They even painted the inside of the team truck white.
Oh, white. Why? To spot tiny bits of dust easier. Dust that could get into the bike mechanics and degrade performance just that little bit. It was relentless attention to detail.
Okay, that's the thorough. So what happened? The results.
Astounding, really. Just 5 years later, Beijing Olympics in 2008, they won 60% of the available gold medals in their events. Incredible.
60% from almost nothing.
4 years after that, London Olympics, they set 9 Olympic and 7 world records. And the Tour de France. They went from 0 wins ever to 5 victories in 6 years, between 2012 and 2017.
Wow. Okay, so that really drives the point home.
It really does. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about elite athletes, It shows how small improvements compound. Think of it this way. Get just 1% better each day for a year, and you end up like 37 times better.
37 times, that seems huge.
It is. But the math works. Conversely, get 1% worse each day. You decline almost to 0. It's like compound interest, but for self-improvement. Your habits multiply their effects, your outcomes, your weight, your bank balance, whatever. They're just a lagging measure of the habits you repeat day in, day out. You basically get what you repeat.
Right. You get what you repeat. So let's bring this home. We've seen it works in sports. How does this powerful idea apply to something many of us think about, like healthy weight loss and building habits for healthy living?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? What are some of these specific, small, actionable changes? Let's focus on diet first.
Okay, where do we start?
Well, Harvard Health suggests looking at how you eat. Simple things, like getting up just 15 minutes earlier so you actually have time for breakfast.
Instead of grabbing something on the run. Yeah.
Exactly. And practicing eating slowly. Putting your fork down between bites, maybe sipping water. They suggest aiming for about 20 minutes per meal. Maybe just start with 1 meal a day like that.
20 minutes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That takes conscious effort.
It does initially. Brown University Health echoes this. They advise avoiding eating on the go because that often leads to eating too fast and often choosing, high-calorie, low-nutrient foods. Their advice, try to carve out time for actual sit-down meals, even if it's just 3 days a week to begin with. It's about being more mindful.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not a massive diet overhaul, just slowing down. What else? I know sugary drinks come up a lot.
Oh, definitely. That's a huge one. Brown University Health, the British Heart Foundation, they both highlight this. Sodas, fruit juices, those sweetened coffees and teas, they're just loaded with calories.
And calories you don't really notice going down.
Precisely. The British Heart Foundation points out something interesting about fruit juice, too. While it has vitamins, the juicing process releases what they call free sugars. So they recommend sticking to just a small glass, maybe 150 milliliters, or, even better, just eat the whole fruit and drink water.
Right, the whole fruit gives you fiber, too. And what about hot drinks? Coffee, tea? Many people add sugar.
Yeah, and the British Heart Foundation has some really easy swaps there. Choose a skinny latte or cappuccino instead of the full-fat version, or just go for black coffee. Skip the whipped cream on hot chocolate, maybe use skimmed milk and unsweetened cocoa, adding just a tiny bit of sweetener if you really need it. And if you take sugar, try cutting down gradually. Or switch to a low-calorie sweetener. Your taste buds actually adapt over time. You get used to less sweetness.
It's about those gradual, almost invisible shifts again. What about grocery shopping? Does that play a role?
A big one. Brown University Health suggests trying to avoid prepared and processed foods as much as possible. They're often high in empty calories and linked to things like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease.
The stuff in the middle aisles, usually?
Exactly. Their advice is pretty simple. Try to stay away from those middle aisles. Stick to the perimeter of the store. That's usually where you find fresh produce, dairy, meats. Build a better food environment at home.
Okay, perimeter shopping. Got it. Now, what about specific meals? Breakfast, lunch, dinner? Are there small swaps we can make there?
Yes, lots. The British Heart Foundation has some great examples. For breakfast cereal, choose lower fat milk, like skimmed instead of semi-skimmed. That alone saves about 160 calories a week, apparently. And read the labels. Avoid cereals high in added sugar or salt. Look for whole grains porridge oats. No added sugar muesli. Add some fresh fruit for fiber and vitamins.
Okay, simple swaps for breakfast. What about lunch?
Well, instead of maybe a high saturated fat cheese sandwich all the time, try tuna or egg with just a little reduced fat mayo. Swap out crisps, maybe for a small handful of unsalted nuts. Nuts have good nutrients, but they are high in fat, so watch the portion size. Or even better, nutrient-rich carrot sticks. And always try to add fruit or veg to your lunch to help hit your 5 a day.
Adding veg everywhere seems to be a theme.
Definitely. And for main meals, choose leaner cuts of meat. Trim off visible fat. Grilling instead of frying. Try incorporating plant-based options like beans or lentils, maybe once or twice a week. Or switch to fish. Less saturated fat, more healthy fiber that way. If you're making pasta, go for whole wheat. Use a tomato-based sauce and load it up with vegetables. It's a small sprinkle of cheese. Remember, starchy carbs like pasta or potatoes should only make up about a third of your plate.
Right, portion awareness too. And the veg message is clear. Add them wherever you can.
Absolutely. They're packed with fiber, vitamins, minerals. They can lower your risk of heart disease. And crucially, they help you feel fuller, which helps prevent snacking later.
So zooming out again, these small dietary tweaks, they really add up systemically, don't they?
They absolutely do. Because as the British Heart Foundation points out, many of us are just consuming too much saturated fat, sugar, and salt. And not enough fruit, veg, or fish. Less sugar means less excess energy stored as fat. Less saturated fat helps cholesterol levels. More fiber keeps your digestion working well and helps with feeling full. It's all interconnected. These small adjustments genuinely build a healthier internal system over time.
Okay, that covers food really well. But what about activity? And importantly, the mindset. Because sticking with changes when you don't see results immediately, that's tough.
That's a huge piece of the puzzle, absolutely. For activity, Brown University Health has some reassuring advice. Don't feel like you need to jump into intense, formal exercise straight away. Even just a regular 15-minute walk around your neighborhood is a fantastic starting point. Anything that gets you moving counts. Gardening, taking the stairs instead of the lift, even doing laundry.
So lower the barrier to entry, just move more.
Exactly. The ultimate goal might be, say, 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise, but the key is starting consistently, however small.
And Harvard Health really emphasizes setting small, specific, realistic goals, right?
Yes, right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of vague things like, I want to lose weight or I should eat less, try something really concrete, like, I will bring a healthy lunch from home 3 times next week, or I'll call a friend and arrange a walk after work on Monday and Wednesday. Much more actionable. They suggest aiming for a realistic 5% to 10% weight loss goal, maybe spread over 6 months or more. Build in flexibility.
Making it achievable, building confidence.
Precisely. And this ties into a really important concept from Atomic Habits, and also mentioned by WebMD, the plateau of latent potential.
The plateau sounds ominous.
Well, it can feel that way. It's the idea that you might be making positive changes, putting in the work, but you don't see results straight away. It's like, imagine an ice cube. You heat it from 25 degrees up to 31 degrees. What happens? Nothing visible. But does that mean the energy was wasted? No, it's being stored. Then, at 32 degrees, boom, it melts.
Ah, okay. So the work isn't wasted, it's just building up.
Exactly, it's building up potential. People see breakthroughs and call them overnight successes. But it's all the consistent, often unnoticed work beforehand that made that breakthrough possible. There's that famous quote, I think the San Antonio Spurs use it, from Jacob Riis, about a stonecutter hammering a rock 100 times, nothing happens. Then the 101st blow, it splits in two. It wasn't just that last blow, was it? It was all the ones that came before.
That's a great analogy, the stone cutter. So patience and consistency are key, even when you can't see the crack appearing yet.
Absolutely critical.
Right.
And building confidence helps you stick through that plateau. WebMD points out that every time you do follow through on a small habit, you get a little win. That builds success quickly, reduces anxiety. And once that tiny habit feels automatic, then you can maybe ramp it up a little bit, add another small habit, or make the current one slightly bigger.
And finding ways to trigger the habit helps too.
Definitely. Positive triggers are powerful. WebMD suggests linking a new habit to something you already do every single day without thinking. Like, their example is, every time you turn on the tap to wash your hands, use that as a trigger to drink a glass of water first. Or link the habit to something that genuinely motivates you. Maybe it's better health, maybe it's saving money for something fun.
Making it personal and not trying to do it all alone.
Yes, so important. Brown University Health, WebMD, they both stress getting support. Ask a friend or family member to join you for a healthy meal, or suggest non-food activities when you catch up. Maybe organize a neighborhood walking group. Accountability helps, and it makes it more fun. Even just talking to yourself positively, simple affirmations like, I always feel better after I walk, can make a difference.
Building a whole support system around the habit. Okay, so we've talked a lot about small habits, these atomic habits. But there's a deeper layer to this, isn't there? Something about systems versus goals.
Yes, and this is a really core idea from James Clear in Atomic Habits. He makes this crucial distinction between goals and systems. Goals are about the results you want. Win the championship, build the $1 million business, lose 20 pounds, whatever. Systems, though. Systems are the processes that lead to those results. How the coach recruits players and runs drills, how the entrepreneur tests ideas and markets products, the daily habits you follow.
Okay, goals are the destination, systems are the journey, or the vehicle.
Kind of, yeah. And Clear asked this really interesting question. If you completely ignored your goals and focused only on improving your system, would you still succeed?
What's his answer?
He argues, pretty convincingly, yes. Think about sports again. Every team wants to win the championship. That's the goal. But you don't spend the whole game staring at the scoreboard. You focus on executing the plays, on getting better each day in practice. The system, like the famous football coach Bill Walsh said, the score takes care of itself.
The score takes care of itself. I like that. So why prioritize systems over goals? What's wrong with having goals?
Well, Clear points out 4 main problems with being too goal-focused. First, winners and losers often share the exact same goals. Every athlete at the Olympics wants gold.
Right. So the goal itself doesn't differentiate them.
Exactly. What differentiates them is the system they use to prepare. Second problem. Achieving a goal is often just a temporary change. You clean your messy room, goal achieved. But if you don't change the habits, the system that led to the mess, it'll just get messy again. You need to fix the inputs, the process, and the outputs, the results tend to follow.
Okay, temporary change. What else?
Third, goals can actually restrict your happiness. There's this implicit idea, once I reach my goal, then I'll be happy. You're constantly putting happiness off until the future. But if you focus on the system, you can feel satisfaction anytime your system is running well. Success can take many forms, not just that one specific goal outcome.
That's a subtle but powerful point, delaying happiness. And the fourth problem.
Fourth, goals can sometimes work against long-term progress. They can create a yo-yo effect. Think about someone training for a marathon. They work incredibly hard, cross the finish line, goal achieved, and then they often stop training because the goal is gone. True long-term thinking, Clear argues, is actually goal-less thinking. It's about committing to a cycle of endless refinement and continuous improvement, focusing on the process itself.
So it's about falling in love with the process, not just the prize.
Precisely. So if you find you're struggling to change your habits, the problem probably isn't you. It's likely your system. As Clear puts it, quite bluntly, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Oof, you fall to the level of your systems. That really lands.
It does, doesn't it? And that brings us back to the deeper meaning of atomic habits. They aren't just random small actions. They are little habits that are part of a larger system. Just like atoms are the basic building blocks of molecules, these atomic habits are the fundamental building blocks of achieving remarkable results. They're small, yes, easy to do, often, but they're also the source of incredible power because they're part of that system of compound growth.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the main takeaway for everyone listening? We've explored how these tiny, almost invisible changes, what you eat for breakfast, how you take your coffee, adding a short walk, setting tiny goals, how they can all build up over time into really significant, lasting results. And we've connected it to this bigger idea. Focusing on building good systems, these consistent processes, rather than just chasing specific goals, seems to be the real path to continuous, sustainable improvement.
Yeah, if we connect it all. I think the real insight here is that profound change usually doesn't come from huge, dramatic gestures. It comes from the patient, relentless accumulation of seemingly small actions done consistently, day after day. That's what truly compounds and makes the difference in the long run. It's the quiet work that eventually speaks volumes.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What's one small habit, just a tiny 1% improvement that you could start weaving into your daily system, maybe even starting today, not necessarily thinking about it as getting you to one specific rigid goal, but more as a commitment to a process of getting just a little bit better, trusting that those small gains will compound and guide you toward a healthier, more successful place, maybe one you can't even fully picture right now?
Thank you for joining us today on the Get Fit podcast. We hope you found these insights helpful for building healthier, stronger habits. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a new episode. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or question below about your own fitness journey, and we might feature it in a future episode. Keep going, stay motivated, and remember, your atomic habits create massive results. Until next time.